welcome back. Morning Ride it is right here on Delta Television, Asaba, the People's Pride. 1 year anniversary of the present administration at the federal level, the state level, and the state legislature. What and how far have they fared? Governance and the people they govern. To talk with us on this is no other than the very vibrant and adorable member representing OSHIMILI South constituency in the Delta State House of Assembly, Honorable Barrister BRIDGET ANYAFELU. So good to have you, ma.
Thank you. Good morning, viewers.
Good morning, ma. Welcome. Good morning, Ride.
Thank you.
And we must say congratulations on your 1 year anniversary in the House.
Thank you. Congratulations, all of us.
Congratulations, ma.
Thank you.
So let's start with your immediate constituency, which is the state legislature. How would you describe governance in this last 1 year, being a representative of the people of OSHIMILI South?
Governance in legislature?
Yes.
Well, I want to first thank the Almighty God for this 1 year. And thank my constituents for giving me the privilege to be part of the state's legislature. I want to also thank Deltans for giving His Excellency the privilege to be the governor of Delta State. And I thank the members of the 8th Assembly for also making it possible to have the Right Honorable Imamotimi Dennis Gun as our speaker. That's one.
Okay.
Well, 1 year to the glory of God as a legislator representing my constituents and a legislator at the State Assembly. You know, our job is very simple: to legislate, have the oversight function, and then represent your people. That's, I can tell you, we have done our best to the glory of God. In the last 1 year, on the 13th of June, the 29 members of the House of Assembly were inaugurated. That same day, the Right Honorable Imamotimi Dennis Gun was elected as the Speaker, Honorable Speaker of the 8th Assembly, while Right Honorable Fred Atao was elected as the Deputy Speaker. These two persons represent the South and the Central District of Delta State. Then thirdly, Right Honorable Meka Obi was also nominated to be the majority leader of the House.
Okay.
These three persons have done well, along with the principal officers. And they have carried us as a team. First, we were made to go through so many trainings to build our capacity, mostly the first-timers like us. And then, even before we started, we had the first sitting. We are already trained on what to do and how to carry ourselves and do our constitutional duties. So in the last 1 year, by September, we had the committee set up. And for me, I'm the chairman of Housing, Women Affairs, and Humanitarian, and so others. In the last 1 year too, we were able to pass about 18 bills came to the House. 15 of these bills were from the executive. 3 of the bills are member bills.
Okay.
And out of these 18 bills, 9 of these bills were passed. 3 of the bills have been assented to, and the other 6 are waiting assent by His Excellency. The remaining 9, some have gone the first and second reading, and I'm sure by the time we go back to work on the 2nd of July, many of the remaining bills will be passed because they've gone through second readings. More importantly, in December, we passed the 2024 appropriation bill. You will agree with me that without that bill, there is no budget for the states. And going through the budgets, it became obvious that the governor, in terms of governance, understand that governance is a continuum. That you will not just become a governor and then start your own project. So going through the appropriation bill that was sent to us in 2023, my take home was that you have a governor who have worked with his team to understand that prudence is the most critical. And so he decided to go to the market to buy material as much as his money can take him, so that he was not going to make a suit when the money he has will only give him a shirt. So you see prudence at work. And more importantly, in that budget, he made it very clear that all the projects started by the previous administration will be completed with at least more than half of that money. And so new other projects that will be included will also be used, money left will be used. And going through our oversight function, I've been able to go, I'm a member of the Committee on Education. We went around the states through the primary, secondary, and tertiary institutions. And then I saw oversight, that is functional, where the chairman of my team will have to visit the commissioner. Ordinarily, you would have just said, oh, we've come to see the commissioner, and from the office, you will leave. No. They were given time that all the money, everything we have done in December during the budgeting, that is important for us to see those projects they have done and how they have done it. If the money that was approved, whether the executive have used it wisely to impact the citizens of the state. And so we toured around the state and went to the project sites where some of the projects were on.
And this is in schools now?
Yes,
schools
we visited schools.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And then the one that attracted me most is the tertiary institutions, where they do not rely on the money coming from the state. So they generate revenue from their school and then make sure they follow best practices to put on projects that is needed most by the school. I went to Ogwashiku Poly, and the structure on table is a structure of a smart campus. It was very exciting at the point of demonstration, where the rector showed a structure of a campus, like giving the Awashiku Polytechnic as an example, where he will sit down in his office when that comes to play. He will sit down in his office and see what happens around the whole school. So that if anybody will come in, you know how large that school is. If there's an issue of security anywhere, it will just be. Yes, very smart initiative. Yes, meaning that, and then that's one. I also went to the technical education in my own constituency, and I left that place very satisfied, because I have hope in Nigeria. And even if some people are not doing well, I want to confirm here that my state is doing well. People will not see it. I'm talking as a development person. I said to my colleagues that I am certain that if we have good trainers, persons with capacities that will manage these children, they will produce a car in my home native town. If you go to that place, you will see That is a secondary school, technical school. And I walked out from that place. I called my friend, I said, Senator Dr. Kowa is a genius. And he's smart, and he's a man for the future, because so many of these things he has on ground. Some people don't understand it, but I am actually very grateful. And I also relate it to the man that he picked, that is our sitting governor. It is important that when you sit in a leadership position, you look at people around you and groom them, so that in the end, you don't begin to feel bad about what decision you have taken.
Okay.
So many of these things have happened, and I can tell you that I'm happy with the implementation policies, and then I also know that the state on her own has the monitoring team that goes around, like under the administration of His Excellency Dr. Kowa.
Okay, thank you so much for taking time to explain to us governance at the executive and the legislature in Delta State over the past 1 year.
Yes.
Now, down to your constituency, how would you assess the progress made in your constituency the past 1 year?
Well, in my own constituency, I have also carried out, I carry out oversight functions almost every day.
Okay.
And what I have done is to work with the youth. You know, I always tell people that the young people are the strength at any level, whether at home, in the community, in the local government, at the state level, at the federal level, even at the global level. You do not underestimate the strength of the youth. Without them, you can't even do anything. So it is important that you work with them. And then if you think that they don't understand what you're doing, try and be patient with them so you can bring out the best from them. So the administration have taken that route to make sure that the youths, the young people are recognized and given room to participate, so that in the course of participation, you'll be able to ascertain what strengths they have and their weaknesses. So in my own local government, I've been working with the young people, and I tell them, if a project is in your own community, I tell them what they will have to do. So they have the right to ask the contractor, where is the BOQ for this? What is the standard set by the state? And how do you intend to carry out? So when you find that when the contractors come are in sight, the young people around that place will come out to ask questions. And when they raise questions and those contractors do not respond to their questions the way they want, they will just ask me to come. And if I'm in town, I will just go to the place and we'll sit down. They will take their time to walk around with the contractors. We'll move from one stage to the other, and then they will ask questions. And the contractors will answer those questions because they know that the youth can do anything if you don't give them the right answers. So with patience, some of the contractors have also been able to sit down and reason with them. Okay. And then at some point, I will get in touch with the head of such MDA, whether it's the DG Capital Territory or the man in charge of, the contact person in charge of construction at the Ministry of Works in OSHIMILI South, because we need to work with them. So we have a team. For example, on roads, we have Mr. Austin, who is in charge of OSHIMILI South roads. So at every given point, you call him, you say, oh, Mr. Austin, we are in so place. Come, he will come and meet us. Or he will say, Madam, I'm not in town, but just tell me where. In fact, when you even tell him the address, he will go there, and then he will ask me to leave his phone number with the Landlords Association. So what I have been able to do is to make sure I work with the landlords. So I say to them, there is no point coming on a courtesy visit to my office, because at the point of election campaign, I didn't ask to come and see you. I came there without any courtesy, whatever. So it is important for me to come to where you people meet. So when I come to where they meet, sometimes there are more than 100. You see that by the time they go home, I am satisfied that when they go home, at least each of them will talk to like 4 people and say, I see what we discussed at the meeting, meaning I have spoken to 400 people.
So the interaction is robust.
Exactly.
Okay.
But if they come for a call in my office, 4 of them, it's impossible. So when if the indirect impact now will not be up to 20 people. But when I meet them at the large numbers, everybody contributes, they will say something, because they feel that people who are holding positions, you don't see them all the time. But I also tell them that they are the one not playing their part. Because when you play your part, you remember that you were the one that made me to go to the House of Assembly. So you also have a duty to call me to order when you think I'm not doing well. So by the time you begin to see me as one big woman sitting somewhere, then we have gotten everything wrong. So I can tell you that my community people, we've been able to work, like now, I've been able to enter into a partnership with the farmers in OSHIMILI South, looking at the food scarcity, and then we have also entered into partnership with the schools. The CIA joins us from one school to the other to make sure that we have farms in all the schools in OSHIMILI South. She's all the time on, as I speak to you, they're on site going to one school to the other. One of the schools yesterday told us, sent their garden and said, our land is prepared already, all we need now is the seeds. So we sent seeds to them, and you find that they are happy. The children, some of them have never been to farm. They are also excited on that they are going to make farms in their different schools. So each of the schools in OSHIMILI South will have a farm, and they tell you the name of their farm is attached to the name of their school. So some of these things, and the artisans, we have all entered into partnership, because if they do not participate, they won't be able to speak for the government. And it's when they participate, they'll be able to have information on what government is doing, so they can tell you, oh, I know about this. Like the roads now, the moment it rained the other time, they called me and said, oh, that what the contractor said, he lied, oh, that water has entered our home. And they said, where are you? I said, I'm in town, I'm just coming to town. They said, please come. So when I got there, I found out the place was flooded. Right there, we called Minister of Works, and they said, oh, it's Capital Territory. I called Mr. Patrick Kuka. I said, look at what has happened. While I was there, Patrick Kuka had to summon the people to ask. He had already even sent them to go and check. So it was like we were having now a conference, because people were seated and identifying the issues, how it has affected my people, and why we need speed breakers to outside that one. And they, right there on phone, we all agreed that they will come back to site to look at those issues they said they didn't do, and then do it well, and then come up with the speed breakers before commissioning. Okay. So the people will listen. As we are talking, the people are listening. That they were asking, is that Patrick? I said, yes, he's in charge of this place. So they're happy. So they'll go home and say, they will do it.
Okay. So these road projects you've mentioned, where exactly are they? Are they spread across the local governments that make up your constituency?
Well, they are like at the point of campaign, I'd already taken the need assessment of my people. Okay. So these needs assessments became a working document for me. Okay. And then I had also made the intention of my people, their needs clear to His Excellency and all the relevant MDAs. And that's why this particular one from Ibuzo Road, straight to Elmonaje, to St. Bridget's Junction, up to Ezineye Avenue. That's used to be one of the worst roads. In fact, it's not passable. But today you can even speed parts. But because I'm also afraid, because we have plenty of children there, and that's why we need that this
speed breakers.
Speed breakers. Okay. And then there are other places that are working on now with their drainage towards the across the express through the College of Education. All those are works that was started by the previous administration, and they are working to make sure that all this are implemented for the use of the
What about the Oko people? This is an area we know they lack basic amenities, roads especially.
Yes.
What's happening?
The Oko, I can tell you here that the Oko road I lived in Lagos, I lived in Lekki, and each time I look at Oko, I see the land in Lekki. I see IBB Bridge. And you know that my people in Oko are suffering.
Yeah.
I tell everybody that cares to listen that all the plantain, all these food items they eat in Abuja, Lagos, they carry them from Oko, from across the Niger. They will come and pick them. The women and the men that have done that job for 9 months, 10 months, they will sell them for nothing.
Peanuts.
And then the people will just, all the job that the people have done is just to cross the water and carry. And when the moment they cross to the other side, the one they bought for 200 or 500 become 6,000. No job has happened, but these people have been the ones. So it is very clear that the Oko Road is a federal road. And it is important that the federal government take it very seriously. The Delta State government will play their own parts, but the federal government must, as a matter of urgency, take note of that place, which we have also raised those issues many times over, that the federal government must put down resources to give that road at least 50 years zero maintenance, because you know issues of maintenance in this country. So that if that road is under construction, it has to be done by Julius Berger, because Julius Berger understands the position, and like the IB Bridge is like coming to do, that's what you are going to be doing in that Oko Road. When that happens, the federal government will understand what it is, issues of economy coming from my local government, and that they have ignored all these years. So it is important that everybody put their hands together to make sure that this thing come very fast, not the next administration, but this administration, that it happens.
All right, let's talk about your legislative achievements in the past 1 year. What significant bills have you sponsored or supported in the House of Assembly?
Well, at the three
Bills
member bills I co-sponsored, the one that is very critical for me is the Persons Living with Disability Bill. And we all know that persons living with disability anywhere are the most intelligent beings God made. And because I've had close contact with them for many years, I've had friends from my school days that were visually impaired, but they will come out with a first class. My first friend was Festus at the University of Lagos. He came up with a first class. He was given a scholarship. He came out with a distinction in his master's. Of course, he was given a PhD. And today he has a PhD. And all those of us who have eyes were not able to pass like he did. At the law school too, my friend Sonny made the first class. And I've always known them to be very intelligent. They are extra intelligent. So it's important that we recognize them, not looking at their physical appearance, because if you look at their physical appearance, you begin to pity them. I don't pity them because I know they are intellectuals. I know they are superior beings. It doesn't matter if I have 2 legs and 2 hands and I can see. Those ones you see that they are living with disability are the most intelligent people. Okay. So I respect them and I learn from them. So whenever I meet them, I take one thing or the other away. So I don't pity them. It's like going to France now, and then you get to France, you only speak English. When you get to France, you will live with disability because you don't speak. So I don't want people to see them as people, they have a lot to offer this government. They have a lot to offer our society when you sit down with them. And so it became very imperative that Delta State understand that position, and in the end, that bill was passed into law with an assent. And I want to also tell you that one of the bills that was passed into law, though an executive bill, is the bill on social investment. Okay. Social investment, looking at the sustainable development goals, and then the agenda to make sure that we put an end to poverty, and then to also understand that that the most vulnerable household also have critical roles to play in the society. That is one bill. And while under the previous administration, His Excellency Senator Dr. Atokowa appointed me as a Pioneer Commissioner for Humanitarian. His reason was to make sure that the excluded are put online, so that in Delta State, you will not see vulnerable homes or people who say we have nothing to do. So you find that this government have also come and decided to have that as a law. That shows you how seriously the governance of Delta State recognizes the role of the poor in our society, and that it is important that we bridge this gap and fight inequality with our last strength. So these are the, but two, we had resolutions made in the House. Out of about 6 motions moved, I moved 2 of those motions. And all the motions that were moved in the House of Assembly were seriously for the betterment of Deltans. One was the illegal checkpoints. You know that is the most vulnerable people that feed us. The most vulnerable people feed us, but it's bitter. It's a bitter truth. If, for example, all those people in Obogonobo carrying wheelbarrow, you buy vegetable, you buy all those things, they are the ones that feed us. The days they are not around, they will not feed. So the government understands, the legislature understands that the poor in the society play very critical role. Yes. And whether they're micro enterprise holders, it is important that you recognize and respect them. So they do not want any block on the road, so that if they've gone to Ubolu, or they've gone to anywhere, Owolobo, anywhere, or they've gone to Ruoro to buy vegetable, anything to come and sell, you don't just come and take the money from them at the end of the day and at roadblocks. At the end of the day, they will not be able. Some of them, give them ordinary 20,000. They will use to make a lot of money. You eat garri in your house. It is because they have played critical role to put food on our table, even if we are using our money to buy it. So that was one of the motions. Now, the one that is most critical is also that of the illicit drugs and sex trade in Delta State. You see what happens around our places in the night and all that, especially as it concerns the adolescent girls. And we have said that young people are the strength of our nation. It's not possible for us to sit down and watch our young people fail, because that means the next generation is in trouble. Yes. So because of that, we unanimously, even if there was a hot debate that day, the House unanimously agreed that it is important that we put an end to sex trade. And when some people raise the issue that sex trade is the oldest trade in the world, and we said it doesn't matter if sex trade is the oldest trade. The important thing is that Delta State government do not want their children, the adolescent girls and boys, to be part of it. Do not also want the adult, because we have hope that Delta State is a leading state, not just in Nigeria, but at the global level. So it is important that we have responsible and credible young ones at every given point, even in the face of hard times. We should sex trade and illicit drug shouldn't be a profession or a trade for us. Yes, so yes. That was the position. And then the issue of the child's right law. The House domesticated the child's right law November 2008, and it was gazetted by March 2009. So it has become very imperative that we implement this law. Under his administration, Senator Dr. Atokowa, the state government set up the family courts, and then constituted the Committee on Implementation of the Child's Right Law. And this administration has come and said it is very imperative. There is a law now, a bill before the Assembly that has also been passed to make sure that all these issues of implementation, offenses that
And also, we are united. We've been in the business of lawmaking for the past 12 months, peacefully, united, progressive. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank you for being the household. And by extension, Mr. Speaker, I also want to thank the governor of the state.
For me, it's been very
school children in your constituency?
Well, we have before now. I had a meeting with the critical stakeholders in education to also let them know. That's why you see that the teachers will allow a child to come into the class even without uniform, because we don't want to see any child on the street. And we've also asked that let us know. We have the data of pupils in all our primary school and the data of students in all the secondary schools. Are there children that were coming to school before and they are not coming now? Because it is important that when children are enrolled, it is important that they also stay and graduate. So retaining them has become very imperative. So you ask, are there children that have dropped so we can find them? Are there children around your street? The strategy, the model we have used is that everybody counts. I have entered into partnership with so many people, young Christian youths. So mind your street. Don't go to another person's street. Okay. Let me know number of children on your street that are not going to school. Let me have their names and their addresses, and we'll go to that place. And then in the marketplace, we have worked with the market people to make sure that children are not in the market when their mates are also in the classroom. So we have the data of those children, and we have pleaded with the school authority, working with the CIE and all the teachers and head teachers in OSHIMILI South to help monitor too, not just bringing them to the class, monitor. So where there are issues, they call us. If it's about books, if it's about uniform, whatever it is, they will let us know. But going forward, we also have a team that go around to get those informations about out-of-school children. I can tell you we have some of them. And as we are getting them, we are returning them to school. We are not waiting, whether it is 2 days to holiday. When we get you today, you go to the school and register. That is the action we are taking. Okay. We have also had critical meetings with the health sector in OSHIMILI South. We've partnered with, we're partnering with so many people, the critical stakeholders, whether in health or education. So that's the issue. And we have also recognized that the teacher is the representative of God in all this. The three of us sitting down here can do nothing without the teacher. Whether they are nursery school and primary school teacher, who are even the most critical in all. So we have also begged parents. I have spoken to the students. You go home, tell mommy and daddy, don't walk into any school in OSHIMILI South and shout or beat up a teacher. It is not acceptable. We'll follow it to the end, because you do not abuse that person who plants confidence in the life of the child. So these are the issues, because we recognize that without the teacher. I had a meeting with one of the landlords association over the weekend, and in that meeting there was a reverend father. And I told them it's good that there's a reverend father in our midst. And I told them that the teacher was the one who taught the reverend father. The teacher taught the Pope. So it is the teacher who brings out the beauty of God's creation in a child. And make sure that our brain works. So when you ignore the teacher, you remove the confidence in that teacher. We are not going to go anywhere in education. And you know that without education, we cannot cannot fight inequality. So you must respect the teacher. You must, once in a while, enter the school and ask the teacher, how are you? Just how are you? The teacher doesn't need much. So, and we do not have to say the teacher is a big professional. The teacher is the one that makes professionals. So you cannot begin to put the teacher and us who are lawyers or medical doctors as equals. No. In the whole of this country, 3 persons use red biro: the president, the governor, and the teacher. So you will know the level of the teacher. So it is important you respect them so that our children can go into the exam hall and write the exam with confidence and come out. At the end of the day, we won't be talking about malpractices.
All right.
Okay.
There's one major issue we'll look at as we wrap up this interview. The issue of task forces in Asaba, your immediate constituency. Task force on Okada ban, task force on scavengers, task force on daily collections from keke riders and
Market
different
women.
Yes, task force on market women, market collections and all of that. They seem to be on the increase. But very recently, the Delta State government put a ban on Okada and scavengers. How have your constituents felt with the ban on Okada specifically?
You know that that process, this is a state capital.
Yes.
And then in state capital, it is important there is orderliness. And if they had behaved well, if they behave well, the government will have no business going to attack a gentleman who respects the law. But in a situation where there is a law, you must respect that law.
Okay.
Where there are rules, you must follow the rules strictly.
Okay.
Where you come into a place and you feel that you are now the boss in the community, you drive anyhow. Not only that, many of them, over 90% of them, do not behave well. Either they are in one, there must be a force behind them. So they have not done well, and I appreciate the fact that the government has taken action, and that action will bring a good development for the people. So that it is important that we have sanity.
What about the action of the task force?
The action of the task
Yes.
force, well, it depends on that particular task force.
Okay.
For example, sometimes I stop to ask, why are you doing this? I want to find out who is behind
authorized you?
this. Yes. Now you find that many of these people taking collecting money,
Levies.
some of them are doing their own work,
Yeah,
trying to be
exactly.
smart.
True.
And then the ones that government have asked to come and work are doing their job. So it is what the state government the action the state governments have taken is also good. So make sure that you identify who is asking you to do this and why you're paying this tax levy. I have done a lot of work on the taxation on the informal sector. And we have raised also a lot of issues as it concerns the market women. And I'm working with the market women and men to be sure that levies collected from them are strictly levies directed by the government.
All right. How do you plan to build on the successes of the past year, and what are your top priorities for the upcoming year?
Well, education number one,
Okay.
health and food. So the sustainability of the farm will have started now. For example, you have enough land in DBS. I can send you seeds that you can plant here. Corn, okra, whatever it is, even plantain. Plant it. Those things are sustainable. Okay. Where you have to eat fresh food from your own garden. Okay. It is also important that we begin to produce the things we eat in our state. Because we can produce carrot here, we can produce green pepper, we can produce cucumber. If I can come and give you cucumber seeds here, you will use it to beautify your place. So in OSHIMILI South, what I want with my team and the entire inhabitants of OSHIMILI South is to have green plants all over OSHIMILI South. And these green plants also give you beautiful flowers. When you plant cucumber, it has beautiful flowers. You plant okra, it has beautiful flowers. You plant tomato, it gives you many fine colors. You plant pepper. Yes. So I also thank His Excellency, because I was at the palliative flag off last 2 weeks, about 10 days ago. And he said that the reason he asked the civil servant to take 2 days off is for them to go and do farming. And you don't need to go into a bush to do farm. Even your flower pots can be farmed, as long as there are no goats in your compound. Because if you don't have goats in your compound, don't bother to plant any flower again. Just plant economic plants. Your okra, you will cook it fresh, because you go and be cutting it there. Your pepper fruits for over 6-7 months. So you don't need to get those things. When you have plant, for example, if you plant cucumber across your fence now in this place, you'll be selling to people in Obogonogo. So the people in Obogonogo don't need to travel far to go and buy cucumber for sale. They will just come here, you will sell for them. And then you will make it in such a manner that they will also have a gain from what they have sold. So what we are doing, I'm giving them the seeds so that at the end of the day, they keep 60% and 40% will be for the poor. It's only the living that can praise God. Where a hungry person is hungry, but when he sees food, you'll be surprised that when the poor comes here to take okra and take this, tomorrow he will just walk in and say, "Oh, auntie, you want me to plant something for you?" Because he knows he will gain from it. So those are the things. This rice, everything you're seeing in that we go and bring from other states, we can do them here. So let us challenge ourselves and be ready to do this work. Get the seeds and put down. You see the beautiful things God have done in our midst. And then encourage our children to be in school. More importantly, if our children will do well, it lies on the hands of the teacher. Don't go and warn the teacher. Let the teacher bring out that discipline, because parenting have failed. So many parents are not even bold enough to confront their children. Yesterday, a teacher in one of the schools saw a man pick one of their students. He didn't do anything. He just used style to be following the car until he found out that the car entered the hotel. Wow. Then he went to the police and called the police and said, "Our student with one man entered this hotel." The police came and took all of them and arrested. The man is in the cell, the police cell now. So that will tell you how far a teacher can go. Because the teacher is the one representing God before our very eyes. Ordinarily, he would have said, "What is my business? It's not my child." A child that came to school around 7, and a man has come to pick, a man that is living with a family. Now, somebody will say this is a busybody. The teacher knows that the child is his child. It doesn't have to be his biological child. True. Because on the last day, God will say, when you saw that child entering the car, what did you do? He followed and followed and followed. If you know the hotel where they went to from that school, but he followed them until he was sure that they entered that place. Yes. And the police arrested them. I was very happy, because the moment he did that, he called me, see what they have done. I said, make sure nobody bails that man. And the same teacher and the police had to take the child to the hospital because there are already bruises. So that is what is happening. Everybody must be on alert. Don't say it's not my child. Every child in OSHIMILI South, in Delta State, is our child. Make sure you fight injustice, fight every evil with your strength. In the end, I know that Delta State is a state for the future. Yes. And our leaders in this state, and our young people, our women, and the elderly will do great wonders, not just in the state, in this country and the world.
Thank you very much. Our take-home word from here will be, every child in OSHIMILI South is your child.
Yes.
Is our child.